Now that Rabbeinu Avram described this high level of Bitachon by the Nevi'im, and how there is room to make a distinction that there's sometimes room for fear until HaKadosh Baruch Hu lets them know that things are going to happen a certain way. Says Rabbeinu Avram, now that I understand this, says Rabbeinu Avram, now that I understand that even the Nevi'im Rishonim, on their highest level of Bitachon, still had room for fear until HaKadosh Baruch Hu let them know that things are going to happen in a certain way. In other words, until HaKadosh Baruch Hu let Eliyahu Hanavi know I'm going to take care of you, protect you, and feed you, he still had to make room for that fear that maybe he won't have food, maybe his evil will reach him. So until then, we learn from this that a person that did not reach that level should not just say, you know what, I'm going to rely on miracles. I'm going to sit back on my chair and I'm just going to rely on miracles and everything will go the way I want it to go. And other Rabbi, the Rabbeinu Avram says that he's considered a sinner, he's considered a choite, because he's going to bring Yechil Hashem. Because what if things don't happen the way he wants it to go, and he goes and he spreads around the word, yeah, I'm sitting back on the couch, I have Bitachon, things are going to be great, and then it doesn't happen, and that brings an incredible Yechil Hashem. Now, if you'll recall, Rabbeinu Bachya explained this in a similar way, saying that a person who goes around and doesn't have the real Bitachon, and says, I have Bitachon, will bring Yechil Hashem. And this seems to be the distinction between the Rabbeinu Bachya and the Rabbeinu Avram. The Rabbeinu Bachya said that when a person really does have that high level of Bitachon, indeed he could go and sit back on the couch and rely on the Nissim. And Rabbeinu Avram says that he can only do that if he has some sense, some hargosha, some feeling of Hashemayim that things are going to happen the way he wants them to. Until he has that hargosha, until he has that nevius, that Ruach HaKodesh, there is still room for a certain level of yira. Says the Rabbeinu Avram that we see this by the Dor HaMidbar. They reach high levels of being Miyois Tzivus Hashem Asher Ga'olam Mitzrayim B'Nisim B'Neflos V'Olichem HaMidbar B'Masakim Muftav Sham Aleim Shmir Mu'olah. They reached the highest of highest levels where HaKadosh Baruch Hu protected them at every step. Amud HaOnon V'Amud HaEish. They had Amud HaOnon and Amud HaEish protect them at every second. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu literally fed them in Hashemayim, V'amon L'macholam, V'amayim Azoyim Mitzur Chalomish, and they had the water coming for them. V'aroim Bris Hashem Nisei Alefneim, they had the Aroim Bris Hashem. V'aonon Nisei Ayim B'masam L'goyin Aleim, the Onon was protecting them from the heat, and the Onon Ma'odo Eish was protecting them at night. V'hoya Kesukah Al Rashem Shashchanosam, it was literally Hashem encircled them with the sukkah of Anani HaKoved, V'ashchina Yisashor B'neim, and the Shchina was Shruya there, K'moshenema Asher Ayim B'ayin Nirat Hashem, and we see that whenever they had a question, they could go ask Moshe, and Moshe would say, wait here, Hashem is going to answer me. They reached this incredible high level of Bitachon, yet still the Rabbeinu Avram is saying here that a person at that level, if he then questions for a moment, if he questions for a second that maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not provide for him what he needs, that brings the incredible charoin af. And that is the worst of the worst, says the Rabbeinu Avram. When Klal Yisrael was scared, when the Meraglim told them about the people in Eretz Canaan, and they were scared to go into Eretz Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu told them, this is the worst of the worst. You came till here, you saw what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for you, and now you're scared? That, not to V'sorim and Bitachon Agama, they went back from being on this incredible high level of Bitachon to go on to the basics. Let's send in some spies, let's check out this country, and we'll look for it. In other words, they went back to a normal level of people who don't have this high level of Bitachon. Says the Rabbeinu Avram, the highest level of Aveira that could happen in this world is when a person does reach this incredible high level of Bitachon and then starts questioning again. In other words, Rabbi Avram, what he told us before, that a person on that level has to remember that sometimes there's a room for Yira until HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the Agosha. And now the Rabbi Avram is teaching us that a person on that level still has to know that the worst of the worst could happen if Chas v'Shalom they start questioning once they reach that high level of Bitachon. So Rabbi Avram is teaching us that this high level of Bitachon of the Nevi'im HaChasidim HaRishonim, it's an incredible sensitive thing, and a person has to be very careful when he reaches there to be there for real, like the Rabbeinu Bachya told us, and also to be very careful to continue to grow that Bitachon. Have a wonderful day.